I'm Deb Foglia. I live in New Jersey and I'm a home decor blogger. You might have seen me before on Hometalk. I like doing their live videos here in my house and decor ideas, DIYs, a lot of things on a budget. So today I'm really excited to show you some things that anyone could do at home. So these are just some projects that I came up with using grocery store items. Which is really fun. So I'm going to show you, the first one is how I turned a pretzel container into a pot for a plant. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Love to know where you guys are tuning in from. Once again, I'm Deb. I'm a home decor blogger here in New Jersey, and my blog is seekinglavenderlane.com. Okay, so first thing is, when I came across this, I noticed that the bottom of this looks kind of like a pot or something that you can make into to plant your flowers in. So what I did already was I kind of put a hole into this right along this seam here. So I don't want to stab myself on TV, so I did that with a knife, and then I'm going to take the scissors and cut along here along this. So you can see how the bottom already has a shape of like a pot. So I'm going to cut along this line here. All right. So I'd love to know where you guys are coming from, where you're tuning in from while I'm cutting this plastic here. Now you want to also be really careful when you're cutting this because it could get a little sharp. So just take your time, cut this right. So where are you guys coming in from? Anybody else from Jersey?
Someone from New York City. Got a couple of thumbs up here.
Awesome. This is super easy.
Grand Prairie, Texas.
Awesome.
Lisa. Burma from Ohio. Bernice from Arizona. Katrina from Arkansas.
Okay. Thanks guys for tuning in. So here we go. I've got this plastic pot now. So if you're just tuning in now, I'm basically taking a pretzel container and turning it into a flower pot. So I cut the bottom off of this already, which took me, I don't know, 5 seconds to do. So then you're left with this piece. There might be a little like unevenness. You want to go back and maybe fix it up a little bit. Just be a little careful because it is plastic. Okay, so from here, the next thing I'm going to do is spray paint it. I can't spray paint it right now because we're in the house, but you could get a copper spray paint or any color that you choose. I chose to do copper because I wanted mine to look like a vintage piece. So I was kind of obsessing last year over copper vintage pots, so I decided that I wanted to pick up some copper spray paint, and I spray painted this copper. Okay, so once it dries, you're going to see it's a little opaque still, but that's okay because we're going to add some dirt in this and it'll be fine. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I want to add some dark wax to it. I love dark wax. A lot of my decor that I do is farmhouse, and I like a lot of rustic pieces, things that look old and used and vintage. So I use dark wax on everything. So this one's by Annie Sloan. There's a few out in the market. This just happens to be my favorite that I use all the time. So you can see I've used and abused this. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to the copper pot. Okay. So I'd love to know what you guys have done, any projects out there using containers that you've found at the grocery store in your pantry, any ideas out there that you've done or maybe thinking about doing. So that's our question for you from Hometalk, and Hometalk is actually going to be giving our winner at the end of the segment a tote bag. So share your ideas with us, share where you're coming from. We want to hear what kind of ideas and decor that you've come up with using things from the grocery store. Okay, so this is pretty much, now if you've done furniture before, you know kind of how to apply wax. If you haven't, this is kind of like a great starting point. So I'm just, dabbing it a little bit, brushing it on. I'm using a paper towel. You don't have to get fancy with this. It's just a really great way to give this more of that vintage patina feel.
So we got Paula talked about a receptacle for bags and powdered soap holder.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Any other ideas out there using containers that you've gotten from the grocery store? I know my kids just made some...
We got Jody making earrings out of soda tabs here in New Hampshire.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that, Jody. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so you're getting the idea here. So I'm just adding the dark wax over the copper. I mean, if you like the shiny copper, that looks great too. I just like the look of something that's more vintage, and it gives it a little bit more of an authentic feel too, especially over the plastic. Okay, we're just about done here. So you want to like wipe some off, get a nice good surface here. And if you're just tuning in...
Carol's talking about pet bowls, and then you have Kathy talking about outdoor candles.
It's a good idea too.
Purses and wallets out of Capri Sun, Kool-Aid.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that. That's adorable. Okay, I'm a little messy here, but that's okay. Okay, so if you've used dark wax before, then you kind of know what you're doing. If you haven't, it's not difficult at all. You're just going to add it to the outside of the container, and it ends up something like this. You know, you want to let it dry a little bit too out and kind of wipe off some excess. Okay, so now here's the fun part. So once this is all done, remember this is what it looked like originally. And then we cut it down to this, and then I spray painted this with copper, which you could spray paint any color you want. I'd love to know what colors you might want to spray paint this. I like copper. Copper is very on trend right now, so I'm loving just adding this little bit of copper to my home decor. And then I added the dark wax. And now let me show you, once you add a little plant to it. This is one that I previously made. And there you go. So now it looks like a vintage copper pot. It looks pretty authentic to me. I mean, especially, like I said, once you add the dirt inside, it kind of fills in the holes a little bit, wherever it was a little opaque. And then I love succulents because I can't really kill them. So these are really great. You can plant succulents in them. You don't have to water them that often. If you want to put a plant inside that needs more watering, then I would recommend drilling a hole in the bottom of this, and then this way you can use the plants and water them all you need. Succulents seem to do really well on this because I don't have to water them so much.
Linda wants to know if you spray both inside and outside.
So you could spray the inside. I've actually gotten that question before, Linda. I don't think it's necessary, you know, especially if you're going to put a plant inside. If you just want to kind of turn this into just a pot itself and put it on your shelf, then maybe spray the inside because you could see through it a little bit. But as you can see, once the dirt is inside, like, I don't know if you could see this. I know it's really hard because we're on the phone here, but there's like a little bit of sheerness here. But because the dirt's behind it, you really can't even see. So it's really up to you. If you want to spray the inside, you could. I sprayed mine upside down outside on a canvas, and I didn't bother doing the inside, but you could definitely do that. So any other ideas that you would do with the pot with different color ideas? I really love the copper. You might want to do gold. That might be really neat too. And you can add the dark wax to that too. It'll give it also an antique look. So that's one project for you guys. This one I did last year. It's a great summer project that you can do. You know, you can make it for somebody. It could be a great gift. I know Mother's Day just passed, but it could be a great graduation gift, a great gift to give to teachers, anything like that. It's really, really simple. It could be even like just a nice idea to get some girls together and make a project. Grab some pretzel containers. You could eat them while you're making the project, and then it'll be lots of fun. So I'm going to move on now to my next project. This is another upcycle, but I like to kind of consider it a downcycle because I'm actually going to take a can and rust it. So this is what I started with, your typical can. And you could use any size you want. So I actually used multiple sizes in showing this demo for you guys today. So whatever size you want. And once you're finished with it, you're going to take the wrapper off. All right. So is there any other ideas out there that you guys want to share with us with turning containers that you've used, whether for cooking, that were in your pantry, that you want to share some upcycle ideas with us. I used a pretzel container, and now I'm going to be using a can and turn it into something fabulous. Okay, so this is pretty much what it looks like once you take the wrapper off. All right, so now the product I'm using, it is from Modern Masters, and there's a few on the market that you could use. This one just happened to be at Hobby Lobby. So it's a great product. They have a few of them out there. This one turns it into rust. There's like patina, all kinds of things. Now the cool thing is I'm doing this over metal, but you don't have to do it over metal. You could do it over wood. There's so many things you could do this with. I've actually used this over wood before as well, and that's really fun because it starts out as wood, it ends up looking like metal. Okay, so the first thing, now you're going to read the directions really carefully because there is drying time in between. So the first thing is the primer. Now the primer is, I'm going to squirt this in my dish over here. The primer is like a copper color. So from here, I'm just going to take my sponge brush. I'm going to dab that in there. And now I'm going to cover the surface. Make sure to try to get some of that extra glue off wherever the wrapper is. You could do that. Now I just shared this over my blog today, and I'm going to be sharing it over at Hometalk tomorrow, so you guys will see that pop up there. My pretzel container, that link is over on Hometalk too, so if you missed the first half of this, you could always take a look over there and see how I made that. Both projects though are really, really simple, so you don't have to be a crafter or DIYer or, you know, creative. This is just something you could do for fun. Now this product, it does get a little stinky, so I don't know if you want to use this with your kids, but it's really easy to do. You could do this with like your girlfriends and have like a little craft night, or make it, like I said, for teacher gifts. All right, so once you cover the surface, now I use the sponge brush on this because it just gives more coverage. And you're gonna end up doing 2 coats on here. It should end up looking like this here. So I just pretty much painted it in copper. Okay, so the next part to this little package is to add the iron. This stuff is worth, it's a little smelly, but it's a really cool product. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see that. You want to make sure you give it a good shake, because the first time I used this, I didn't realize it's actually kind of clumpy inside. It shouldn't, if it comes out liquidy, then it's wrong. You want to definitely have that little clumpy look to it. So now I used a chip brush for this because I wanted to add a little texture to the outside. So you're just going to kind of go along, dab it. You could leave some spots too where you see the copper. I'll actually show you again on this too because I already kind of covered that a little bit. So just kind of like that. It's such a fun little craft you could do, and it's kind of like science too at the same time, because you get to see how this kind of takes effect within a couple hours. Okay, there we go. So where are you guys tuning in from? Anyone else from New Jersey, New York? Love to know people are coming from out of the country. That's always fun for me when I hear people coming from different countries watching this. It's so fun. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. I left a little bit of that copper showing, and then just kind of gave it that little bit of the texture with the chip brush. Okay, so next.
Amy Marie from Minnesota. Got Darlene from Key West. That sounds nice.
It's probably beautiful there.
Jan, who's pure Michigan. South Carolina. Got Alyssa from Canada. Leslie from Arkansas.
Okay. Hey ladies, thanks for joining. So the next step now to this rust effect is the actual rust activator. So it's just a little spray bottle, and you're going to squirt onto the iron. This is really easy to do. I think everything should take about 2 coats. So the primer and the iron and then the rust effect all should take about 2 coats. So in between, you're going to wait a little time, but eventually it turns into this, which is really, really cool. So it just rusts on its own. So it's awesome because you're taking a brand new can and then giving it this vintage feel. I feel like it's something I like dug up under the garden or something like that. Now, what I did with this was I decided to create some letters using my Cricut machine. Now you guys could do this anywhere you want. So you could get like letters from Michael's or any craft store if you don't have a Cricut machine. But I was able to use the vinyl. They're actually outdoor vinyl. So this way, if I wanted to actually put this outside, it should stick. I haven't tried it yet, but it should work. Let me just move this out of here. Okay, so now it has this little ridge up here. So I'm just adding the letters here. And now I'm going to be spelling out the word parsley. So it just takes a little time to do that. But I don't know, do you guys have Cricut machines out there? They're so handy. I just got mine a couple months ago. And it seriously, you can make so many different things. Okay, so I'll do a couple more here. So I'm just sticking these on here. I tried actually originally stenciling this, and because of like the rigid surface, it wasn't turning out good. So I decided just to use these vinyl letters. And this is just super cute because you could use this for the summer to store all your herbs and everything. So I already did one making basil and thyme. All right, I'm just gonna stop at this for now. Now, from here, so there you go, that parse. Okay, so from here, because the letters look so new against the rusty background, I just took a little of this sponge brush that had a little bit of that copper on it, and I kind of just lightly dabbed over it in some areas, so it looks like it's part of the kind of worn down too with the can, just like that. All right, guys, if you want to win that tote, I want to hear some more ideas. Anyone else turn any other containers into some fun DIY projects? You guys are quiet out there. All right, and I just took a little bit of the paper towel to kind of wipe it down.
Amy turned a plastic snap cookie style jar that held, and it got cut off here, but snap cookie jar she turned into something.
Okay. Okay. So let me just go back over what we did here. So we took a can, just a regular can. I peeled the label off, and then from there.
And it says she used a colander for hanging planters.
Oh, that's cute. I love that. That's really cute. So from here, I then painted it with the primer. And then we went over it with the iron. And now this is all from Modern Masters. It's just kind of their own, like, they have their own line of doing patina and rust and everything. And then from there, I added the last little spritz to it, which then created this rust effect.
Looney would use this as a pencil and marker holder.
Oh, that's cute. I like that. That's a good idea. Which could be really good as a teacher gift. It's a nice, like, little, you know, little cute craft. You can make multiple ones at a time, and there you go. And then,
or Michaela said a makeup brush tin.
That's a good idea too. Especially if you like the farmhouse style like I do, and you like things that are vintage and worn and look like they have this crazy story that goes behind them, then this is definitely like a perfect little project you could do. I just love anything that's like chippy or rusty and all that. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you guys what it'll turn into after you finish your letters. So here you can see I've already got some basil in here. And you can make multiple ones of these, even if you want to maybe put them up on a shelf, or like I said, you want to put them by your sink. It's just really cute, you know, spell out the basil, thyme, rosemary, whatever letters you want to come up with. And it's just a cute little project for the summer. So I'm going to put these together so you can see what we created today. Okay. So here we created...
So we got a winner, and the winner is Kara Polk.
Congratulations. That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching my DIY and my pretzel container turn into a beautiful succulent pot, and then my can turn into a rusty herb display.